Andres 4 is out on Mahogani Music. 12 joints. 18 if you got the download. And according to Resident Advisor, it's been 8 years since I put out a full-length album. So I'm just glad that I'm glad people are rocking with me the way they have been. It's been a blessing. I didn't know I'd be making dance music for a living, you know what I mean? And I didn't know that I'd be this active after, you know, this is life after Slum, you know what I mean? And it's great. I mean, I love being a part of that legacy, you know, and I love what I'm doing now, you know what I mean? Like today, I accept and acknowledge that, you know, I am part of that legacy, and someone's always gonna ask me about Dilla. But I'm fine with that, you know what I'm saying? It's no funny feelings or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like I said, I'm glad to be a part of that history, and I'm glad that people still remember me for DJing for them. They, you know, I haven't DJed for them in years, but for people to still, you know, think of me as, that's great. You know what I mean? Last year at Movement, not this year, last year, I performed live, and I had Monica Blair and Amp as my musical guest, and then I had T3 as a surprise guest, and we did like a nice little Slum set where I recreated the tracks, like I know where, you know, all the samples and stuff, so I recreated and grabbed different little singing stuff, like we did Tainted, Disco, and Selfish. It was nice. It felt good being on stage, you know, with my boy. I popped up on them overseas somewhere. That was crazy. I just walked up. They was like, "Oh shit!" And it was like, I think they were like Frank and Dank and QD and stuff. And it was, you know, great times as far as that. You know, it was a special time in history. You know what I mean? Just the St. Andrews era. You know, the house shoes era, if you will, as far as Detroit. It was a great time. Watching the world discover what we had going on was really great. Stuff that we knew about, but watching the world discover it was like. I remember being on, you know, tour bus with Ozo Motley, like, yo, listen to my boy JD, listen to his beats on tape. Like, you know, we listen to beat tapes and shit. And for people to, now the world knows, you know, or, you know, immortalizes him, that was great, man. You know what I mean? Like, if none of us get those accolades, man, I definitely want him to get it. He deserves it, you know what I mean? Currently, Andres 4 is out now on Mahogani Music. And I also will be following it up with a beat album and another Andres album, which would be more live. I wanted to go more live on this one, but took a long time, and it's been 8 years since I gave the public a full-length album, so I think it was time to just give them what I had already, and then we're focused on this next one to get more live. But I won't be having the people waiting that long this time around. So ironically, I was at work at the record store, which is you know, where I know Moody Man from. And he was like, you know, you should give it a try. You know, I wasn't the house music guy or nothing like that. I mean, I liked it, but, you know, I was a hip hop guy. So what I did was, my first album ended up being, to me, more experimental. You can clearly hear the hip hop influence, but I would just tell people, you know, this is my take on the genre. This is my interpretation. And after a while, you know, it started taking off and stuff. He was like, you know, you should try it. And that's pretty much what I did. And he told me, you know, out the gate, some of these, you know, people are gonna think this is me or some kind of alias of mine. I was like, I don't care. I don't care who they think it is, as long as they like it. And then eventually we start finding out who Andres was and things like that. And what was crazy was going to Slum Village shows and people coming, Andres fans coming to the gig and pulling out Andres records, like, sign this. And they're like, oh. that was cool. But yeah, just at that record store, just if he never suggested it, I probably wouldn't have started doing it. And the first white labels that we did, that was supposed to be my label, but people didn't bite on it. And when we put funded by MM, which was, Moody Man, they start biting then. So it was like, fuck it, roll with it. It just started picking up, and then it just started snowballing. And I ended up having a Record of the Year 2012, which was my first release on my label. The song called New For You on La Vida Records. And it's been a blessing. I'm at 11K. Sold 11,000 copies of the record. No download, no digital, just record. Just 12-inch. It's probably one of the most pressed 12-inches out of Detroit within the last 7-10 years, maybe. So that feels good. All this talk about vinyl and this and that. Vinyl, people like, yeah, people still make records? Like, psh. Yeah, and vinyl has been outselling, other mediums of music. Vinyl definitely made a comeback. But even where it's at or where it was, it's, vinyl is a collector's piece. It's no longer the main medium of listening to music as it was at one time. So anybody that's willing to pick up a record, it's pretty much a collector's piece. I look at records like sneakers, people collect them. It's not for everybody.